What's up, Vape fam? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of the Ohm Kiwis. Hey, Megs, darling, we're at episode 87.
87.
87.
Oh, God.
Oh, we're getting there. So, coming at you from little old New Zealand, the bottom of the world. And hopefully we are back on flow to our regularly scheduled slot on a New Zealand Wednesday evening and predominantly Tuesday evening for the rest of the world. Predominantly. All right, cool. We're just hitting YouTube now and gone live there, Megs. How was your day at work, honey?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, yeah, it was good. I think it was probably a little bit more flustered just trying to get our info together. But other than that, yeah, work was good. I was late.
You were late to work? Oh, no. Wow. Yes, today we've got a lot of info to cover and my mind is already like reeling from all the reading that Megs and I have been doing, trying to throw together what's going on in the news right now. But before we get all serious, we will just chill for a wee bit, we will let peeps roll in, we'll say some hollers out to y'all, and hey, we'll start out with some casual usual that we haven't done properly just on a normal show there, Megs. What you vaping on? What's your setups today?
Oh gosh, I've only got one today. I mean, I could have had like a few, but I couldn't be bothered putting them all together. So yeah, trusty usual as always. I've switched the atomizer this time. I had my goon on here like on Sunday, if anyone remembers from that one, with my fancy pants coil on it. But yeah, I've come back to the Bonza with my basic fuse Claptons.
Yay for the Bonza. Oh, that's all good. So that's your one setup you're on today, is it?
Yep, and I'm on my usual juice.
Your usual juice, your jackfruit jungle. Wow, I have my trusty hustler going on today as well, my legit mod. Oh, there we go. Is the autofocus going to behave today? Oh my God, she just might be. Legit mod, both me and Megs, rocking our wee babies that have been rocking solid for over a year now. What are we? Coming up 15 months. We've had these now. Mod's still going strong. Love them to pieces. Got me black goon on the top there today, doing the old matchy with the hardware, and rocking Sugar Baby. Oh, is focus going to go there? Still stuck on my face. Love you guys, Jackie and Shane at iVape Australia. Sugar Baby is my go-to, just like Megs has her jackfruit jungle. And I have my A-Leader D-Box, which I call this wee beauty my Phoenix. I love this mod. It's just a single bat 75 watt mod. I have been rocking it for a couple of weeks now, trying to dust off the cobwebs and give my devices good runs. Got my trusty Limitless rocking on that. And in my Limitless, I have a vendor we will have, I'm hoping, real soon on the show, Spiked Pear by Mr. Matt at Fog Farm. And you vendor that you guys will hear about soon. Megs also sells them his juice in the shop. Bleh. I was going to say in the show. In the shop.
Yes.
I'm really enjoying the Spiked Pear, so I don't know which juices, which flavors we will be trying of his when we do that tasting, but I'm enjoying this one, that's for sure. So yeah, those are my two setups that I'm rocking today.
Nice.
Shall we say hey to some peeps? We've got a lot of info to get out there to you guys today, and there'll probably be a little bit of fumbling and brain fogging and tongue tying, so we'll do some shout outs, say some hollers, and jump right
in. Get into it.
Yeah, and as people roll in, we will try and keep interactive with the chat, with the things that we're talking about as well. But we'll see how we roll. There's lots, and we do want to hear your guys' thoughts on this discussion with the things that are going on in the news for New Zealand, as well as we'll just touch on a little bit of international stuff, but we're going to focus on NZ predominantly for a good wee chunk of what we've got to chat about, eh, Megs?
Cool.
Right, let's say some hollers. Remember, if you guys want to shout out and you are logged into your Google, your YouTube out there in live chat, just type out in the chat box and your name will pop up and we can say hi. So, big love's going out to Berry Hot. Haven't seen you in the chat for a wee while, doll, so good to see you out there. Holla, holla to you. We got Miss Christchurch Joe in the house, one of our NZ dolls. We have Caribbean Productions. Hey, Stephen. How you doing, honey? And, of course, reminding you guys that I will be guesting on his show US time, 6 p.m. next Monday. But here in New Zealand, I was just double-checking my times just before the show. Here in New Zealand, it will be 3 p.m. Tuesday afternoon. If you want to catch that, I have no idea what he's going to ask me, but I'm guesting on Stephen's show. So that's KBN Productions if you want to sub to him and get that notification, guys. Big holla going out to Mark Senior. What's up? Haven't seen you around for a wee while. Hi, Maxie. One of our dolls is lurking in the background behind Megan in the shop there. Hi, darling. Big love's going out to Moses. Hey, honey, we haven't seen you in a wee while. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Miss Niji's in the house. Hey, Niji. Meow, meow. All the meow for Niji. Hey, Miss Alexis just rolled in, another one of our NZ dolls. Hello, darling. Who else we got hanging out? Hey, Ray, how you doing? Mr. Ray Angels chilling with us today. And we got Miss Sarah, Miss Owner of Dispensary, looking in the non-background visual of Megan at the show. Hi, Sarah.
Somewhere over there.
Socrates is in the house, or Socrates, as some people say his name. What's up, darling? Haven't seen you around for a little while as well. Hey, Miss Millie just rolled in. Another one of our fresh NZ dolls. Hey, darling, how you doing? And who else did I see chatting earlier? Mr. Elmo was out there. How you doing, Nick? Mr. Elmo is one of our honorary dolls down in Christchurch. Who else was chilling earlier? Mr. James, he's lurking out there. Mr. James, how you doing, darling? Some of our late night USA crew chilling in the house. Who else did I see out in chat? Miss Nadia, hey, darling. Hey, doll. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's wonderful. A couple other names I've seen. Mr. UW. Mwah! Big loves to you. How's Sweden? We haven't seen you in a while, honey. Oh, he just popped in for a quick hi before we started the show, Megs. He's off to the gym. And he comes in, pops in, he's like, darlings! Mr. Vince is hanging out there he was briefly hanging out in chat earlier before the show as well. He popped in for a hi, Megs, but he can't stay. Mr. Canadian Vince.
Oh.
Who else is lurking out there? TC Vapes is lurking in the background. Any other names? Right. And of course, hey lurkers. How you doing? Okay, so hopefully everybody either learned something about what's going on in New Zealand in the vape news at the moment. I do the vape news because it is specific to our industry. And if they are not already following the New Zealand vape news, of course, some of the topics that we're going to cover have been on a little bit of the global media circuit as well, because there's big stuff going on. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. Hey, Mr. Auckland Joe just strolled in. Hey, doll, how you doing? Oh, bless. Okay, guys. So Megs has amazingly put together a document so that we have some sort of flow for today's discussion. And I say amazingly because while I was trying to read and catch up on things in all directions of lots of articles and things that I found to actually be caught up on, I was just firing links at her and shitloads of information. So hopefully we have a flow of discussion thanks to lovely Megan's organisation. Yeah. Yeah.
I've certainly tried. Yeah, it was done so quickly and whilst I was at work as well. So
Hey.
I'm kind of hoping that it all flows through quite nicely and that we can just sort of follow the document through. So yeah, as per usual, we will start with like our New Zealand stuff and then we will flow it on to what's happening overseas. So I can do like I could start like this first one if you want.
Hey, yeah, you don't talk often enough and people hear me do the ramble and the rants. So we're so totally sharing all the talking today, darling. Okay, guys, we're going to get into some discussion about what's been going on in New Zealand vape news because, you know, hashtag vaping saves lives. Oh, and just on that note, if you spotted it, I only had 2 alphabets. I didn't have another V, so lives didn't fit. So this is today's hashtag, vaping saves, because it does. And you guys know it because it's there in the title and it's up on the badge that we had for the thumbnail for today's show. And
down there in the corner.
And for any of our wrenchers who like to be the link droppers, in the description of today's show, I will possibly have to update it with any more that we jump onto throughout the show if I've missed some. But I have tried to get a jump on that and put a shitload of links in today's description. And these are articles that we will be discussing. And hopefully they're actually in order of discussing them throughout the episode as well. Going off document flow. So I might have to rearrange that after the show. But yeah, there's some links down there, especially these beginning ones, if you guys want to follow along with the articles and the information that we're actually going to be reading to you and talking about. So, on that note, hey Ben, thanks for strolling in just as we get serious. Mwah, loves to you. Take it away, Megan.
Okay, so just to start, I mean, as a number of you have already known, the government here had made an announcement to legalize the sale of e-cigarettes for consumer use. So I just wanted to sort of just touch base on what they were wanting to do. So this can be found in like the health. What is it? So the Ministry of Health website is where this information can be held. So like as Mox had mentioned, all of the links and everything will be listed down below. And yeah, and it's quite informative. I'm not going to spiel off everything that is on that page. It's purely just the proposed changes that they have made, which was on the 29th of March of last year. So on that date, the government is planning to change the law regulating e-cigarettes. These changes need to go through Parliament before they can take effect. This will likely happen from the middle of 2018 at the earliest. So the proposed changes are to legalise the sale and supply of nicotine e-cigarettes and e-liquid as consumer products, regulate nicotine and non-nicotine e-cigarettes and e-liquids as follows. Prohibit sale and supply in a public place to under 18-year-olds, restrict sale via vending machines to R18 settings, allow all retailers to display e-cigarettes and e-liquid at point of sale, allow R18 retail settings to display e-cigarettes and e-liquid in store, including window display, promote products on the outside of the store and offer discounts, free samples, loyalty awards, etc. Prohibit broader advertising, example billboards, radio, TV, internet. The rules will apply to retailers' websites as well. prohibit vaping in workplaces and other areas where smoking is not allowed under the Smoke-Free Environments Act 1990, and set requirements for product safety, example, nicotine concentration, child restraint, closures, etc. So in addition to these changes, a regulatory framework will be developed to provide a pathway for emerging tobacco and nicotine delivery products to be regulated as consumer products in the future. So that was what they had proposed. So what has happened since the proposal? Not a whole lot.
We wish we could actually say more had happened, but
yes,
governments move slowly, don't they?
Yes, they do. And in that time, we have had the elections. So the government that was in power at the time of making said proposal is no longer in power here in New Zealand. So National was the government that had made that proposal, and Labour is now in power. So this leads on to the article that was released that same day in regards to the legislation behind what had been announced. So Labour were cautious of e-cigarette legislation. So that article will also be in the description, because there is an article on it. So Labour has responded cautiously to the news that the sale of nicotine e-cigarettes will be legalised in New Zealand. Health spokesman David Clark said they're already here and they're already being used, so it makes sense to regulate them. But he said it's not a silver bullet for smoking cessation, which is why in the proposal that they had made the announcement for the legalisation of the sale of e-cigarettes as a consumer product, not as a smoking cessation. He is quoted to say, more than anything else, the government needs to step up to the plate and make sure that we have proper funding for smoking cessation programs and make sure that we have a realistic path to our smoke-free 2025 goal, because that isn't the case currently. He said we should proceed with caution and be prepared to review it if evidence grows that these devices are being used as a gateway into smoking rather than a path out of it. And the article continues. A law change will be needed and is likely to be completed next year, although the government has said it will do so sooner if possible. Today's announcement, being the 29th of March, the announcement is a big win for the e-cigarette. Last year.
Almost
sorry.
A year ago.
Yes, a year ago. So the announcement is a big win for the e-cigarette industry. Its products won't be in plain packaging, nor will the hefty taxes on normal tobacco be applied. As nicotine is classed as a medicine in New Zealand, it can't be sold over the counter. Managing Director of Cosmic, Mark Carswell, said about the announcement was a matter of meeting demand and is thrilled the government's moving to make it legal by this year. You know what was happening was just common sense, really, because if you stand behind the counter for half an hour and talk to cigarette smokers coming in who are now vaping, they are thankful, and that's what Mark Carswell was quoted as saying. There's another quote from him. They are saying this is the best thing that they've ever encountered to try and get off cigarettes. Associate Health Minister Nikki Wagner said the change came despite the fact scientific evidence of the safety of e-cigarettes was still developing, and despite stressing the low-risk approach taken because of that lack of certainty. Wagner encourages reporters at Parliament to try vaping. Apparently she tried vaping, but she's not very good at it, and she doesn't smoke either. She goes, I suggest anyone who smokes here has a go at vaping too. Around the world, we can't get clear research about this, but what we're thinking is that there's about 95% less harmful than cigarettes.
Reminding people that this was said a year ago, so there has been more research since.
Yeah. She said the government had considered applying the same tobacco excise duties on vaping products, but had decided not to. I think that it's an important thing, so when a smoker goes into the dairy, he or she will see cigarettes at a very high price and e-cigarettes much cheaper. Wagner was not concerned that some big tobacco firms were behind many e-cigarette products. She's quoted as saying, "I think the important thing is we want the health outcomes. Whoever sells them, I don't think is really important."
This was said a year ago. I think some of those views would have definitely changed since with the things that have developed within the industry.
Yeah, I still kind of think that it should be limited to vape shops.
I also agree.
Yeah.
Which is why our discussion's are gonna go there, Megs. That's why I picked that article.
Yeah. Cool. And the new rules for all e-cigarettes, whether they contain nicotine or not, include restricting sales to people 18 years and over, banning vaping in indoor areas where smoking is prohibited, and restrictions on advertising. The government had already announced its intentions to legalise e-cigarette sales, and today, or that day, a year ago, decision comes after consultation. Nicotine patches and gum can be bought now, but nicotine e-cigarette liquid must be bought from overseas.
Containing nicotine e-cigarette liquid. The liquid already containing nicotine. Remember, they've laxed up on they have laxed up on enforcing that, which why they're putting
due
this
to the proposal. Yeah. Users on an e-cigarette inhaling its nicotine-containing vapor in the way that smokers inhale the smoke of a tobacco cigarette, which contains nicotine plus many cancer-causing chemicals. Oh gosh, there's just a little bit more, but it feels like it's so much.
I know.
In England, e-cigarettes are the leading form of quit smoking aid, used by 35% of smokers trying to quit. However, some researchers argue that e-cigarettes risk providing a gateway into smoking for youth. New Zealand's Ministry of Health has been monitoring evidence on the role of e-cigarettes for smoking cessation. Māori Party co-leader, again, this is a year ago, Marama Fox this month. Marama Fox this month said the government should seriously consider subsidising vaping as a tool to help quit smoking. Wagner said if an e-cigarette got approved as a stop smoking medicine under the Medicines Act, the government may consider subsidising it. About 546,000 Kiwis smoke daily, 15% of the adult population. Every day on average, at least 13 people die from a smoking-related disease, about 5,000 a year. Half of smokers die from a smoking-related illness, and on average their deaths will be 14 years earlier than if they didn't smoke. So that was that article.
And again, reminding everyone, this is an article and statements made by the government on the 29th of March last year. So almost a year ago, this was the government's stance of when the proposal went through and was put in the pile, effectively, of bills, legislation to go through Parliament, hopefully sometime soon this year. So there are so many actual avenues within these statements and this one article alone that have branches of where changes have happened and progress has happened within New Zealand this year. Yes. Oh, that how's the audience going? You know, like we warned you guys. It's hashtag real. It's hashtag real talk time. Everybody's like sitting there going, girls, mind blown. Well, yeah, we haven't done an advocacy show for a while and talking about what's going on. So we're having that serious discussion, guys. What do you think about it all? You Kiwis out there in chat, what are your thoughts on the progression in the last year within our community? There's so many statements within it that have branches, you know. There are New Zealand companies that have developed various pod systems, and I can think of several vendors who have actually done that and bringing out those beginner kits aimed at that well, they could actually be those devices that could potentially be subsidized by the government, handed out to quitline, helping, on prescription from doctors. Those initial pod devices that are coming out could be that one, rather than initially, people were trying to push the old tiny ego pen styles, weren't they, which weren't the best devices to hand somebody with minimal technical knowledge. And although we all managed it and we got on from that generation 1 type device, well, actually that was almost gen 2, wasn't it?
Because I think before that it would have been the cardomizers.
Yeah, that's why I changed it and went gen 2, because but if we were those beginners now being handed an IKEA, even a Joe Sig, I can't remember what Vapo's product's called. We've got the drop from Vape Crew. We've got the iQuick coming from NZ Vapor. Can you remember the Vapor product pod name? I just blanked on it, actually. That's the one that's coming up in another article that we're going to chat about. But those sorts of devices, if that's what's being looked at as subsidized, and your pods are also on subscription, so then maybe there's that's literally handing out a subscription for nicotine at that level. But is that any different when you look at it like that breakdown? Is that any different to the patches and gum and the existing cessation devices? I shouldn't use quotation marks. They are the cessation devices that exist. It's I personally am really getting my words confused now, impressed with the progression of where the industry's gone in the last year.
Yes, there it is. And we just put it in chat, the Opal.
Thank you. I knew somebody out there would help me out. The Opal is the pod type device that's come out of Vapo. Is anyone aware of any? Has Vaporium got one? What's the one Vaporium's got? And there's a few Kiwi vendors that are having these beginner kits, these bottom starter kits that, well, they're the bottom first gen right now for the beginner vapor. Obviously, well, a pod system, a cartridge system, are they still classed as a first gen device? That's a topic on itself. I just sort of tangented there. I am impressed at the progression of where the industry has come, product-wise, thinking-wise, the discussion on the media within our communities has gotten more open, more honest, and I'm not talking trolls and hate like type of honesty and the shit side of communities. I'm talking about people truly providing good information and helping out others and shutting down propaganda articles or spreading myth. But today's discussion is sort of predominantly around what the government's up to, isn't it, Megan?
And at the moment, I mean, we were trying to look online, like even I was, and I couldn't find anything from Labour as to what was happening with it. So it's like,
the only
thing, are you going to make it go stagnant or what?
The only thing that I could find was the current Ministry of Health position statement on e-cigarettes, which hasn't been updated since the 11th of October, and that's on the Ministry of Health website.
And I think that would have been just before
the
announcement of the new government at the time.
Pretty much, and effectively it restates everything we've just gone over in that recap of the proposal. It's just like their position is this and this isn't legal. These are the set guidelines under which bit, and we're going to go a little bit more into those avenues because, yes, the heat not burn thing is a topic of discussion here in New Zealand right now too. And
yes, that's right.
And the key points that the ministry has on the I'm looking at it right now on the website right now is effectively just those bullet points that we did in the recap right there of what's coming up with the proposal, and obviously the points here are what is law right now and what's not being enforced because the proposal's on the table. So that is stated on here as well. And the last update prior to that October one was the 29th of March statement that we've just been reading from, Megan. So, you know, it's not like the current government she's got other she, a new prime minister, she's got other things going on, bigger priorities in the country right now, these storms and relief stuff and, you know, big issues going on in New Zealand. Vaping sure is a legislation on the table that will be going through. We just have not heard anything about where the current existing table of government, and I say that because of all the shifts around of the last few months. Yeah, we just don't have a time frame of when it's all happening to know anything further. You know, like this, we brought up this statement of this article from the government, and I am generalising because there's only certain people quoted in that article, of course. Brought that up because so much has happened in the last year and we are still waiting to hear. So a point of frustration. We would love to hear just some sort of update from you, Labor. I love Labor. I'm a Labor supporter. I'm also a Green supporter and, you know, other policies, but I support Labor as a majority chair membership in the Beehive. And I believe that Jacinda Ardern is going to do good things for the country. But please, honey, can you give us an update of where it's all at? We'd love to hear from you. Or someone at Health Department or something, let us know where the legislation's at or a time frame for it. That'd be nice. Lovely. Ta. Nobody's going to see it from the show from the government, but, you know, just putting it out there in the universe. Somebody update us because we would love to hear what
we want to know what's going on.
Yeah, we really do. Okay, so on that note, what else is happening from the New Zealand government?
Let's see. The e-petitions have gone live on the NZ Parliament website. So there's a link where you can create a petition. So if you were that way inclined, you can create a petition to sort of, you know, try and push to legalize vaping, even though that they've already done the proposal. So yeah, I think the government need like a little extra, you know, little extra nudge to sort of go, hey, listen to us. So that's in place, and I believe like the link to that site will also be in the description. Also, the New Zealand Ministry promotes vaping. This is another article, which actually came out of the UK. I'm pausing.
Yes. Pause. Now, I recall when this article came out, and I wanted to pause to make a point of this because maybe someone could find it on the site and I am being blind as hell. I had a mental frustration moment trying to find a date for this article. I do recall when it came out, as in I remember reading it and the images and the information that's on it. I just can't remember a time frame, and nor could I find a date on the article. I know that sounds weird, but somebody, you want to go look at that and somebody find me a date if they can, because they'd be fab. Just to give context of how, you know, when the information has come out of these points of reference that we're making and talking about to you guys. So
there is no date on it.
Yeah, I know. I went mental. So I just noticed I didn't date the Parliament one. That Parliament petition one that's just come out on a tweet. I found that bit of information just in the last couple of days. So that's fresh info. And that's also emphasizing the date.
Trevor Miller sort of announced that, saying that it had gone live and it had been retweeted.
Yeah. So yeah, this next article. Do you want me to read this one, Megan, or are you happy at the minute?
I'm thinking whether I should just note the little bullet point bits and... Oh yeah, I got it.
You got it? Okay. So yeah, we can't find a date for this one, but I believe that the information in this article still stands, which is why I wanted to reference this today, even though this particular article's come out of the UK. So
Yeah,
take
so
it.
this article is actually on, what is it, ecigarettesuk.org.uk. So in an attempt to get New Zealand smoke-free by 2025, the country's Ministry of Health has officially endorsed the use of e-cigarettes as a viable way of quitting the habit. New Zealand officials have got behind the idea that using e-cigarettes is considerably less harmful than smoking tobacco, and their use can make a huge improvement on public health. Although they do qualify this by saying that only regular smokers should take up vaping. The sale of nicotine-containing vaping products in New Zealand is currently illegal. However, many Kiwis have been purchasing their e-cigs and nicotine-infused e-liquids from overseas, since importation for personal use is legal. The change of heart from the government is a bold move towards enabling citizens to buy products closer to home, with the reduced expense and extra convenience that this brings with it. So New Zealand's key messages. The New Zealand Ministry of Health have put forward a number of key messages to support their stance on vaping, pointing out some essential facts about e-cigarette use. 1. Giving up smoking is the single best health improvement that smokers can make. 2. By encouraging smokers to make the switch to e-cigs, New Zealand can achieve the goal of getting the nation smoke-free from 2025. 3. I shouldn't even just number them, so I'll just go next point. Because otherwise I'm going to get lost if I come across a long paragraph. Okay, so no international evidence has been produced to prove that using e-cigs has caused a rise in the number of people smoking, whether adults or teens, and in fact current evidence even suggests that using e-cigarettes could be causing the numbers to decline. Next point. Although there is not yet enough evidence to prove that e-cigs are not entirely harm-free, vaping is a lot less dangerous for the health than smoking tobacco. Next point. E-cigarettes should only be used by existing smokers and should not be used by non-smokers. Next point. New Zealand's
personal choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Personal choice.
Oh, I've done something.
Oh, what'd you do? Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, Megan was a non-smoker, so that's why I just throw in there. Personal choice. Don't necessarily agree with that point.
Yeah. New Zealand's next point. New Zealand's anti-smoking organisations should begin to promote the use of e-cigs as a useful tool for stopping smoking and support those who use them instead of criticising them. Next point, anti-smoking organisations... Oh, what? No, I went to read that again. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah, here we go. Anti-smoking organisations should start to offer e-cigs as a viable option for those smokers who have failed to quit the habit when using other methods or nicotine replacement therapies. Next point, when e-cigarettes are used in the intended manner, the chance of being poisoned by nicotine are non-existent, although all related products should have child-proofed packaging. Next point, vaping products should only be purchased from reputable sources for the best possible safety. And the final point, vaping will still be outlawed in all indoor working environments and in any location where smoking is currently banned under the terms of the Smoke-Free Environments Act. While the Ministry of Health's October press release did make clear that at present the sale of nicotine-containing vaping products is illegal, officials hope that this will change in the near future. So nicotine-enhanced vaping to be legalised by mid-2018. The press release sets a proposed date for the legalisation of nicotine-infused vaping products by the middle of 2018. Although the bill has to be approved first by New Zealand's Parliament, the newly proposed legislation would prohibit any sale of vaping products or e-cigs to minors while restricting any sales through vending machines. It will also enable establishments to propose their e-cigarette products through the use of promotions and creative marketing, although any advertising on billboards, radio, or TV would be restricted and the emphasis will be placed heavily on safety requirements of the products. An especially interesting element of the bill's proposal will enable retailers to offer potential customers free samples, discounts, and loyalty rewards to persuade more people to make the switch. The Australia-New Zealand divide. This latest change in attitude from New Zealand towards vaping is extremely encouraging, especially when compared to the neighbouring country of Australia, which is still taking a firmly anti-vaping stance. At present, Australian smokers are forbidden from having any access to low-risk nicotine products, and no signs of change are on the horizon. For the foreseeable future, it seems as though the tobacco control ideologues are running the show, giving a rather severe message to the nation's smokers that the only choice that they face is to quit the habit completely or potentially risk dying of a smoking-related condition. Hopefully, New Zealand's bigger neighbour will now take note of the happenings in the vaping world close to home and consider changing their own policies.
Hope so. Hope so. That New Zealand-Australian divide, isn't it a thing?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just getting slightly distracted by chat. Hello to everybody who's walked in while we are chatting about big topics today. Right, so Megan just read our a UK article on
basically reiterating the proposal that we had made last year in regards to legalizing the sale of nicotine e-cigarette products. That didn't come out right, but you get the idea.
Still have no idea the date of that article. I know it's come out within the last year, but we do not know the date on that article. However, that I know it's come out in the last year because it's come out since those proposals happened and the press release from New Zealand and what have you about the legislation proposal that we've recapped with you. So it's really cool that the UK are supporting and behind us and released that, actually. I really dig that because the UK are doing awesome things as well. There's always progressive things happening over in good old, UK, United Kingdom as a whole. I was going to say England just then, that's why I paused. It's like, no, the whole UK. All right. Oh, hey. Okay, I'm just going to pause, say holler out to a few of you guys that have strolled in. Big loves going out to Steve. Dave just rolled in. Loves out to Amy. Who else did I see? Big loves going out to Sandy and that white guy. And I see Garrett's out in chat. Sup, G? And who else did I spot? Hello to Jack. And hey, Richard. Have I called everybody? Hope everybody... Steve, I said Steve first. I went up the list backwards. Yeah. Love, Steve. Hope you're doing okay today, honey. I hope today is a better day. You know what I'm talking about, love. Let's just take a breath for a minute. This is big info we're talking about. Recapping.
I had to have like a little bit of a giggle though. I was like reading in the chat. So just as I sort of switched back through, and it's like, it's like apparently I need to be on News Hub.
I missed that. We need to get you some news. Oh, nice.
And today in vaping news.
Yeah, that's the one. And of course, I do a lot of the talking all of the time. So when we do have the big topics and the lots to read, I do like to share all the talking with Megan because she does have that smooth, nice reading voice to listen to.
Yeah, I try to go through it. It's like it's easy enough to read from, providing that I don't sort of end up losing my train of thought. I've got, not really train of thought. It's more like where I need to read. I've got like a new mouse and keyboard, and the mouse likes to sort of skip things like down like quite a large chunk, and it's like, where was I?
I can tell you got lost. You have. All right. Miss Jen just strolled in. What's up to one of our dolls down in Timaru, Miss 44 South. And LJ just strolled in. Hello, darling. Mwah. Loves to the dolls. Okay, so for everybody who has just strolled in while Megs was reading, before I continue, and we do have still lots to talk about, we are just sort of recapping over what's going on in New Zealand with the legislation, the proposal, what's happened in the last year, effectively, approximate year, not to the date, letting you guys know effectively. Hey Chris, how you doing, darling? Beauty in the Vape. Mwah. One of our American dolls just strolled in. What's up, darling? Okay, just lost my train of thought there while I had a drip some sugar baby. Okay, so yeah, letting you guys know what's happened in the last year, or more to the point, what hasn't happened yet. Updating on some articles, what's in our news, and we're just about to get into some of that progression of what's happened in the last year. Wow, in the last few months, really. Now, from this one, Meg, I actually wanted to flow through to QJ because both of those fit this topic, I think. Ha! I see you, darling. I see you. Hey, LJ. Making a special guest background appearance there at the show. And I see G lurking too. Mwah. Hey, darlings. I just really looked behind you. All right, okay. So, shall I read this one? Shall I take it away from here?
Sure.
Oh, right, you can keep an eye on chat there. Oh, yeah, just a note for you all as well, if you weren't aware. Live chat is now recorded on the replays, so it is seen when the show is played back. Apparently, I haven't seen viewers
Have
this
they
yet.
implemented that already?
Apparently,
so mind your P's and Q's, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, there was an email. I haven't seen evidence of said replay live chatness myself, but warning you guys, for those hanging live, don't say it if you don't want
All
it.
the loves.
Video. Mwah, hey, darling. This is LJ, everybody. One of our dolls in Welly. Okay.
And she's snuck through the back door.
I see. So, moving on with some progression that has happened in New Zealand, and I've lost my mouse. Sorry. Moving on with some progression that has happened in New Zealand in the last few months, upon my comments that I made earlier about possible future cessation angles where devices could possibly be future subsidised from the government. Now, like I said, there is a few of our New Zealand vendors who are selling pod type devices, easy cartridge type devices, these first gen new starter kits, new beginner level gear that's coming out. And there is some cool stuff. There are some really cool little nifty mouth to lungs coming out for those converters being converted, doing the switch. What did we say? The Opal has come out of Vape.
Yeah.
In this article that I'm about to read, which came out January this year, 13th of January. So this is fresh information of big things happening on the New Zealand vape industry market. All right, so major
news reading voice.
Yeah, major supermarkets now selling e-cigarettes as tobacco prices rise. Bam, there's your headline. In that one right there, go and buy your latest e-cig down at your local Countdown. Right, carrying on. One of the country's major supermarket chains has started selling electronic cigarettes as the tax on tobacco increases a further 10% this month in New Zealand. Progressive enterprises who own Countdown, Fresh Choice and Super Value supermarkets confirmed it has been trialling the sale of non-nicotine e-cigarette products in over 20 stores around the country since December 20th. I haven't encountered one of these stores, but apparently they're out there.
I'd assume that it'd probably like hitting the Auckland-based ones, maybe.
Possibly, or lower socio-economic type areas in a couple major cities, maybe 20 stores. You think about some of our larger cities, how far have they really done the reach rather. It could be a major step towards making the sale of
Oh no, where have you gone, Mox?
e-cigarettes makers as an e-cigarette as an aid to stopping smoking. I think it's missing an of. According to the Ministry of Health, selling non-nicotine e-cigarettes is legal and supermarkets have the right to choose whether or not to sell them. The new Labour-led government has continued the previous administration's policy of an annual increase to excise tax on tobacco in support of the Smoke-Free 2025 initiative. So that was stated earlier, every 6 months we have a 10% tax rise on tobacco products in New Zealand. Yes, the prices here right now, ridiculous.
Yeah, they're astronomical even
they really
now. It's they're doing it in a way to try and sort of apply it as like a way to kind of stop people from buying just by making it out of their reach, sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, I understand why they're doing it, but at the same time, it can be quite dangerous.
Yes, I think so. Hang on, I'll bring up another point when I finish the article.
Yeah.
E-cigarette retailer Vape, which they have the Opal product that I was talking about. Now, I'm actually making an assumption that it is the Opal that is being discussed here. I don't recall actually reading the product name. So just for clarity there, that's an assumption I'm making because unless I missed it earlier when I was reading this, I don't think the Opal's mentioned, but that's the product I believe, well, the only product I believe that could be supermarketness, like pack sealed.
Yeah.
So yeah, an assumption on my part. I'm just making that clear to you guys out there watching. Where did I get up to? E-cigarette retailer Vape said it was providing Countdown, Fresh Choice and Super Value supermarkets with its beginner product range. So that's the only thing that's been stated there. It could be multiple products and it's just not elaborated. So just being clear on my assumption there. These do not contain nicotine like some products available in specialist vaping stores. The sale of nicotine-based products for e-cigarettes is currently illegal, although they are widely available. The status of these products is currently being considered by the government. New Zealand's other major supermarket chain Foodstuffs said it was not selling e-cigarette products. Vape founder Ben Pryor, hey Ben, shout out, said the company had seen a huge spike in sales through these channels over the New Year period. And we assume, quoted, we assume this is on account of supermarkets being a great place for new vapers to conveniently purchase an e-cig or vaping device without having to stop by a dedicated vape shop. So in the 2 weeks from December 27th, Vape had seen a 57% increase in overall online sales compared to the previous fortnight. So online store visits had increased by 30%.
I've just spotted in the chat. There's been confirmation as to what the product is. It's the Endura T18 that's been rebranded as the Alpha.
Oh, excellent! Thank you for the clarity from someone out there who has seen the product in the shop. Cool. Oh, love to see discussion going on out there in chat. Some posters have been around advertising them. Cool, okay, so the Endura T18, rebranded as the Alpha, is the product available from Vapo via the Countdown Super Value and, what was the other one? I've lost my mouse again. Apologies. And Fresh Choice supermarkets. Right, so where was I up to? The only statistic that has dropped in repeat customer percentage, which suggests a larger proportion of customers that are new to vaping, and that was the oh, there we go. The only stat that has dropped is repeat customer percentage. Sorry,
Oh
the way I
no.
read it didn't make sense in my head. Cool. Okay. Home has recently hired extra customer service staff to attend to the increasing phone calls and email inquiries. So the organic online traffic referrals from Google have increased 42%, showing a spike in people searching for e-cigarettes and vaping devices and being led to their Vape online store. Wow, this is actually generating some awesome traffic for his business, which is wonderful. Getting your name out there. Great initiative from Ben at Vape. I like where he's going for this, even if there could be potentially issues with having products so mainstream. So just continuing with the article. Vapo's data tentatively suggests that there are between 100 and 200,000 people using e-cigarettes in New Zealand. So that's 100,000 to 200. Pretty broad spectrum, but giving a ballpark data figure of just how many vapors are going on in New Zealand, or at least looking into vaping via the traffic on his website and these statistics. And he is quoted, "I think we'll definitely see an increase in vaping in New Zealand this year. The faster industry regulations are finalised, the better." So, positive stance from the government so far has done wonders for shedding light on the benefits of vaping as a smoking substitute, but without official regulation, the industry is still open to quality and integrity issues. Really valid point, that one, actually. We want the regulations for many reasons. We want the legislation for many reasons, and it's keeping our community safe just as much as Joe Blogg's uninformed public safe. Because, if it's only accessible in safe avenues, then people are going to hopefully be educated correctly to use the devices. This is something that concerns us, as this potentially life-saving technology may be tarnished by retailers that prioritise profit over customer care. So that just goes along with what I just said there. The independent UK-based e-cigarette market monitoring company eCig Intelligence put a far more conservative estimate of 30,000 vapors in New Zealand out there. Although this number is very likely to increase if, as anticipated, the legal situation becomes friendlier, and that's said from spokesman Barnaby Page. It is very small at the moment, but regulators and lawmakers have obviously been willing to listen to the arguments in favour of e-cigs, and barring unforeseen events, liberalisation is likely to lead fairly sharp market growth. Sorry. Who's dying in the background? Is that G? Need some water,
Yeah.
G.
Now
The
LJ's
world
dying.
has become split. Oh, guys, go get some water. No dying in the background. Love you. The world has become split into a broadly anti and pro vaping countries, unfortunately. These are quotes from the spokesman Barnaby Page from the UK. Another quote: "The heart of the debate, of course, is whether e-cigs are good because they help people stop smoking, or bad because they might lead some people into smoking. The evidence seems to largely favour the first position." Of course it is, because unless they know any different, I don't know vaping to be a gateway. Personally, I don't know anybody who's gone in the reverse. It's just personal, of course.
Yeah, because like
in other words,
I've
are e-cigs part of the problem or part of the solution?
yeah.
Go. Oh, am I glitchy?
Yes.
Ruh-roh.
I mean, your voice is still coming through, which is fine. Your video feed is rather glitchy.
Ruh-roh.
So I'm thinking it's like, as long as we can still hear you fine, that's all good. I mean, you look fine now.
I hope so. Yeah, you look fine. Okay, we're still in the middle of this article, but yeah, go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, like in regards to the gateway thing, we all know of like those who have gone, you know what, I've been vaping for about a year now. I wonder what it would be like to have like a cigarette after having been doing vaping for this long. And they try to have like that first cigarette, and more often than not, that vapor is going to go, ooh, that is disgusting. And not really want to stub out that cigarette. There's been a lot of posts like in the vaping groups where people have done that. It's like, oh, I haven't had a cigarette for like a year or so. Let's see whether or not I can have another cigarette. And yeah, they just don't, because when they kind of spark it up and say, oh, yuck. Is that what I've been doing for this long? So yeah, it's quite funny.
Wow. Yeah. I know a couple of people who have, they've tried acid and gone bleh. Nah, not even able to finish one. But I'm not aware of anybody that I know that has gone back to smoking or been a non-smoker and it being the gateway that they talk about on the youth angle.
I mean,
okay,
hero, no, I will never pick one up.
Oh. Big topics. Just need to compose myself again. Apparently I was a bit glitchy, so hopefully the audio is still coming through okay, and the video, it can have a glitch as long as you guys can hear what I'm saying. All right. Okay, where was I up to? We are still in this, guys. We're still on it. All right. In other words, are e-cigs part of the problem or part of the solution? New Zealand seems to have come down on the solution side of the debate. Hell yeah, I'm glad that our country is being supportive as it is, like that we aren't in other places around the world that have struggled on the governmental fight far greater than we have. The product's prevalence in the coming years would very much hinge on the details, particularly how e-cigarettes can be marketed, how and when they can be sold, what restrictions are placed on product characteristics, how they are portrayed in the media, and how they will be perceived by consumers. Hopefully, the proposal that's on the table covers all of that. The position of the medical profession and medical bodies plays a large role in those last two issues. They may not have much direct impact on uptake of e-cigs, but they certainly help to define the framework for whether e-cigs are perceived as a positive development or a negative one. That in turn influence policy and consumer willingness to take the leap from ciggies to a healthier, albeit unfamiliar, alternative. Page said. Still quoting the page guy. According to the latest New Zealand Health Survey, an estimated 529,000 adults, or 13.8% of the population who are 15 years or older, classify themselves as daily smokers. Just scrolling to the top again, this article was written January. So, apparently our latest health survey said a figure of that many smokers still to convert. Come on, guys, got to advocate. The Ministry of Health said it believes
census results come back.
Wow, yes. This is true. I wonder if that figure will change dramatically. We just had our census, national census, a couple of days ago. So, yeah, we'll see if that statistic changes. The Ministry of Health said it believed increasing the price of tobacco was the single most effective measure to reduce tobacco consumption. Not quite sure I agree with that, really, after looking at what people are still paying now to still smoke. Tobacco consumption amongst those over 5 have reduced by 30% between 2010, when the regular tobacco excise increase began, and 2016. I'm sorry, aged over 5?
Who the hell's given those 5-year-olds cigarettes? Shame on you.
Yeah. just reminding you guys that
I'm wondering if that's a typo and it's supposed to be 15.
I'm hoping
not that you can
is
legally purchase cigarettes at the age of 15.
No, it's 18 in New Zealand, just for clarity. We're going to assume that is a typo. I meant to say 15, being that the age 15 is actually said elsewhere in the article.
Yep.
Yes, in the survey. The ministry expected tobacco consumption would continue to decrease. We hope so. Price increases were particularly effective.
Yeah, we've noticed that there is definitely a decline. Like like you got the next generation under us, so like the likes of my nieces, my nephews, and things like that. A lot of them haven't taken up smoking, which is awesome. And I've also noticed that in sort of like my extended whānau, with that younger generation also not smoking as well.
It's good that there are youth out there that don't see it as a thing they have to do, or it's just something that has been around them for so much that it's become their habit before it needed to be because of that in the household, you know. Sorry, just clarifying. The video's just catching up. They're all doing that. Oh my God, age 5 out.
I know. Even I was quite shocked. Like, even you reading it, you were like, "What, 5?"
I know. Yeah, and I did that when I read it initially as well. All right, we're nearly there. This article's nearly at the end, guys. Right, yeah, so the ministry expects tobacco consumption will continue to decrease. Yay, so do we. We hope so too. Price increases were particularly effective in preventing young people from smoking, with daily smoking rates among 15 to 17-year-olds having reduced from 6.4% in 2011-2012 to 3.2% in 2016-2017. In 2006-2007, the daily smoking rate in the same age group was 13.7. So those stats just off, I'm assuming, past health surveys or possibly past censuses, censi, whatever the plural is there, have showed those stats, you know, it is dropping, which is great. So vaping in New Zealand in 2016, that's in brackets. These are some bullet points. 1 in 6 New Zealand 1 in 6 New Zealand adults have tried e-cigs. Next bullet point, 3% of adults currently use e-cigs. Next point, out of those who have tried e-cigs, 16% currently use them. Next point, 43% of adults agree that e-cigs can help people to quit smoking. Next point, men, 20% in brackets, were more likely to have tried e-cigs than women, 14% in brackets. Right, and the source of those particular bullet points, that little paragraph there, that comes from the Health Promotion Agency preliminary analysis from the 2016 Health and Lifestyle Survey. So that article, just to recap for you guys again, was from January. So that is a fresh take on sort of just where it's all at in NZ. We've got things happening in supermarkets. We've got statistics dropping. We have progression actually happening at a more mainstream level in New Zealand that a year ago I wouldn't have thought that our awesome friend Ben at Vapo and all of his cool staff would be getting some e-cigs happening in a major chain supermarket. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, they're beginning a lot of exposure in the media that I've noticed when we were doing our hunt around for for articles to really talk about. And I noticed that a lot of the New Zealand-based articles that I had come across, Vapor was pretty much like in the forefront of it. Especially in regards to like the regulations and things like that and any changes that have happened. I mean, just that supermarket article, he's right there. It's Mr. Pryor, you're getting yourself around.
Hey, it's really cool to see. I mean, of course, he's not the only vendor that's doing awesome stuff in NZ, that's for sure. I'm actually going to jump to that article over here, which you may or may not have open, Megan. It's not in our document.
Oh, I don't have any articles open. Only window that I have open on the internet is just YouTube. Wanted to ensure that broadcast was going to go through. Don't you tell me my internet connection is unstable.
Uh-oh. Don't start that game.
Oh, just the little
we don't need
box popped up on the window.
Yeah.
I'm not horribly surprised. The weather here is atrocious.
Yeah, it's not flash here today either. It's a little... I'm doing the glare on my glasses. It's rainy and cold, which is why I'm also actually wearing my beanie today. Okay, so I'm going to jump out of our document and I'm going to side swing over to another one of our vendors who's doing big stuff here in New Zealand, Mr. QJ at NZ Vapor, who we have had his juice on the show a couple of times.
What was that juice called again? Now, like that the Max VG line, Vape.
It is the Vape juice. Oh, I have some right here. The Vape juice. It's just vape juice. See, there we go. Look, I've got disco dust right here. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. NZ Vapor, Mr. QJ, who you guys have seen us launch some awesome flavors on that juice line for him in the past. Yeah, he's been doing some awesome stuff. So I did actually mention earlier that there's some cool pod systems coming out in NZ, and QJ is one of those awesome vendors who, in his Kiwi ingenuity, has designed a pod system. It's called Quit. QWIT. Now, I'm actually... Hang on, I'll grab the link because this one I need to add into the description. Swap over to here, give you guys this link. Oops. So you can follow along too. Yeah, I have yet to put this one in the description. Will it let me? Will it let me while I'm live? Shall I give it a go? Bam! It's up there. It let me do it while I was live. That's cool. All right, so this article is from, hang on, I gotta say it correctly, Hapai Te Hauora, which is the Māori Public Health Department, and they send out a weekly newsletter. And this is an awesome article that they wrote in their weekly newsletter about QJ and his awesome pod system that he's designed. Well, it's got a couple of different things going on with it. He designed a phone app to help guide you through your quitting smoking transition stage as well, which is something pretty initiative, and I hadn't heard of it before, not in New Zealand at least, and I'm meaning specifically an app that works with your device and your information and your individual journey. So
I just want to apologise if you can hear the wind in the background. I'm sorry.
Oh, is that wind? I thought there was a motorbike going by.
No, it's the wind. I'm just looking at my microphone.
Hi, wind!
And I can see it moving, and it's like, oh no, I think it's picking up the wind.
Yeah. I totally thought it was a motorbike going by. Okay, so this article I'm about to read was released on the 28th of February. Right, reading this one off the big screen, guys. Hang on, shift my mic. The title...
Oh no, she's disappeared. I have no idea if Mox has realised.
Sorry?
You kind of dropped out for a moment there. Like there was nothing coming through. Like your video had frozen and there was no audio. So if you were saying something...
Oh no. I started reading the article. Oh no. Well, okay, well, we're still sending to YouTube, fine.
Yeah, I'm broadcasting.
Nothing's glitched.
If you want, I can have a look and see if I can read it off.
Okay, the link's out in the live chat. Have you grabbed it from there?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So okay, I will shut that link. Yeah, if you didn't hear anything of what I said, yes, I started with the date and I was reading. Yeah, take it away, honey. I'll start shutting some things up, glitching.
Cool. So it's pretty much titled it's a guest editorial. So Kiwi ingenuity strikes again with a world first in smoking replacement. As vaping continues to take its place in the running for preferred smoking replacement products, a well-known Kiwi vendor ups the stakes and invents a simplified system. Quits. QWIT. So QJ Satchel tells the story. In late 2017, Quit released a new simplified pod-style vaping device supported by the world's first app-based smoke-to-vape program. On downloading the app, accessed free when a device is purchased, the user is given 5 weeks of transitional support through their smartphone. The Quit system has gained a lot of interest from researchers and industry stakeholders and is already supplied to multiple smoking cessation providers. Early reports from independent providers show an average 68% smoking cessation rate and a 100% smoking reduction, with some users dropping cigarette consumption by up to 45 cigarettes a day. Where did Quit come from? The concept was created by a couple of Māori brothers from Tokoroa, who also have another business focused on smoking replacement. They both successfully stopped smoking with vaping products and are passionate about helping others in their bid to kick the habit. In 2012, after experiencing their own success in smoking cessation, Kane and QJ Satchel put their life savings on the line and started a small company called NZ Vapor. Unlike most newcomers to the vaping industry, the business was structured in a way that QJ was able to publicly lobby the government in a bid to have the sale of nicotine-based e-liquids legalised. QJ started and continues as the director of the New Zealand Vaping Alliance. The following years saw NZ Vapor grow from strength to strength, and contacts were made in the public health and research spaces, which allowed the company to learn more about user habits and difficulties. With the bank of knowledge that was built, QJ and Kane knew changes were needed to simplify the transition process from smoke to vape and conceptualize the Quit system. The release of the Quit system is a culmination of 5 years of operation. We have certainly learned a lot along the way. One of the issues we see is that most vaping devices are viewed as being quite techy. So many people are scared off before they have even started, said QJ Satchel, Managing Director of Quit Limited. Our device is so simple to use and training is not required at all. The lack of transitional support has also slowed the uptake of vaping in New Zealand. Sadly, we lose around 600 Māori to smoking-related disease annually. That's 600 tamariki and mokopuna who will grow up not knowing a member of their whānau because of this addictive and harmful product. So, just so that those don't realise, so tamariki is children, mokopuna is like grandchildren, and whānau is family. Quit believes that simplicity in vaping devices and empowering ex-smokers with positive affirmation on a daily basis is the key to cessation technology, and has designed its app to deliver 24/7 help to the palm of the user's hand, using evidence-based techniques and peer support. No other device or program has been combined to offer this level of support globally. As the crunch comes down on New Zealand's smoke-free 2025 goal, it will be very interesting to see which technology takes the stage as the most successful smoking replacement product. Either way, it seems Quit is ready to take on the big guns and have voiced aspirations of being the New Zealand smoking alternative. We're all in again. It has always been my dream to have our products sold anywhere a cigarette is sold. We want every person who smokes to have options. That's what it takes. That was really cool.
And I know for a fact that that's the same sort of point of view that Ben's got from Vapo as well, with putting products in supermarkets. If you can get a cigarette there, hey, let's have the option for the healthier alternative as well. Fuck yeah, QJ are doing amazing things, isn't he? I believe he is also in discussion, and I don't know what he's able to achieve before legislation happens, or maybe it will all happen at the same time. But I know he's in discussion with hoping to get his new pod system available through Quitline as a cessation device that they give as one of those options for a healthier alternative, or the cessation device to stop smoking completely. So like I said, discussions. I don't know anything on that realm as for whether or not he'll be able to achieve such a goal prior to the legislation. But he's doing awesomeness. And again, with repeating my comment about being impressed with the progression in the vape industry itself, as well as what's individually happening here in NZ for our tiny little country. Sure, these things are happening in bigger places like America, the pod systems and these such programs, or type programs. I'm not sure if such an existing design with a phone app is already out there. Probably is. But for that to be going on right now in little old NZ is really cool. Really cool. So I added those couple of links into the description. That article that Megs was reading out, their Hapai Te Hauora article, that newsletter email that I received, and I also added in the actual link for the Quit system at NZ Vapor, and more detail there about the app and the free support system that he provides with that, and of course prices of the system is also there. So because we referenced that article, that's why I thought I'd throw QJ's link for the product out there as well. Now I'm looking at the time, Megs. Let's stop with the serious right now and draw our goddamn winner, don't you think? Let's take a breath, have a wee vein. Everybody out there, I had so much to absorb. And if you've actually looked down in the description, we have shitloads of links down there that we haven't even got to yet. We're going to skim the next one just as touched on a topic. We won't read the article. We'll touch on that as a topic, though. And before we jump to the big articles about the current court case and what's going on in NZ with big tobacco. But that's coming up. That's coming up. Hey, fam out there watching, yo, shall we do the giveaway draw? You know, like somebody want to win some Fusion Fine? Oh yeah, by the way, like I totally thought it while we were reading Seriousness, but you know, the comp closed when we went live, like right at the beginning, just saying, you know.
So
alrighty. I'm just let's have a wee stretch here for a sec, grab a vape. All right, so there's a few of you that entered this week competition. Not heaps, but a nice handful for it to be hopefully a nice wee pack for someone. And it was a global competition, but we didn't get too many global entries. We got a lot of New Zealanders. Awesome. We always like any entries in any giveaway because that's lovely for you and the vendor. Now, just reminding you guys that the prize, of course, was for the 4 flavors that we did in the tasting on the entry video. That was episode 85. And those 4 flavors were Dusk Till Dawn, Lady of the Lime, Peach Melba, and Yummy Beers. And they were 4 of the 6 flavors about to be released this Saturday at Tauranga Vape Day. If you guys aren't going and you are able and not far away, you so should. You so should. It'd be a good day. Megs and I can't be there, unfortunately, but all of those that can, you will have an amazing day. And don't forget to go and say hi to Andre and say you heard about his new juice line on the Ohm Kiwis show and you want to check out his new t-shirts that he's got up for grabs at awesome prices, great specials going on for Saturday only. Okay, so let's make sure I've got this website all loaded up, eh? So there's only going to be one lucky winner. And should you be outside of New Zealand, although, like I said, I don't think there's actually any international entries, then the shipping was on you guys. But if you're in NZ, you're all G. Oh, what's going on? Okay. It's having a spaz. So I will just go and get that link again. Okay. Don't know why it's having a spaz. There's always got to be something, but it's okay. We're just having a wee little vape break. We'll draw this winner in 2 ticks. I just need to grab the video link again. Don't play.
I was going to say,
I see
for a
what
moment
it's
there,
done.
your video had frozen and your freeze face it looked like you were scratching your nose.
Possibly was. Very, very possibly was. You know, these things are entirely possible. Where is it? Where is it? I have, please hold. I'm having a moment where the comment picker website that I use glitched out, hence why I was just having to reset what I was up to. Please bear it. Please hold. Okay, I don't know what's going on. It's totally glitching out. Oh no, it sorted its shit. Yay! So the glitch out it was having was it was suddenly loading like 4,000 comments, and I'm like, where are all these comments coming from of this video? And yeah, yeah. So that's loaded now. Just have a wee breath there for a minute. How do you keep a straight face when Mox freezes touching her nose? Oh my God, I'm totally frozen on the YouTube stream again as well.
Yep.
Okay, carrying on. As long as you guys can hear me, I don't care if the video's freezing because, yeah, my Mozilla was just having a moment. Okay, darlings, let's draw a winner for Fusion Fine. Take it away with that drum roll, Megs. And congratulations to Tamlin. Congratulations, doll. Miss Tamlin's one of our dolls in Wellington. Congrats, honey. Hashtag Team Fusion. And she told us to have a fantastic week, darling.
Aww.
All right. Yay. Congrats.
Yay.
I don't think Tamlin's out in the chat tonight, but I will let her know. If you catch the replay before I reach out to you, darling, then feel free to message me over the Ohm Kiwis. You know the deal on the Facebook page. Yay, Tamlin, that's way cool. I'm just writing her name down before I shut the page. And of course, it is entirely random, based off the random comment YouTube picker thingy website that I use, and you got to be in it to win it, guys. And apologies, there is no winner. Sorry, that came out wrong. No giveaway for this evening because we're having hashtag real talk.
Yes, it's been a while since we've done an episode
Hashtag
like this.
real talk.
I think the last time we actually had a real talk
it
like
is.
this
It is.
Was actually when the government had made that announcement to legalise the sale of e-cigarette and nicotine products.
I was trying to think when our last one was, actually. So yeah. Okay, right.
Because when they did that announcement, it happened to be on the day that we had our show. So it was like, we got something to talk about.
That's right. And then I was on my way back from Christchurch. That's right.
Yes. And then I told
Congrats,
you, it's like, look, I got this thing.
Just putting that out. My nose is itchy today. Sorry, guys, if I keep freezing touching my nose. Oh, my feet does keep freezing. Okay. Well, I've just shut the comment picker page, so hopefully my Mozilla chills the fuck out and I stop glitching. I just do hope that the audio is still coming through all good. Yeah, I can see myself frozen on the screen.
I'm still moving.
Oh, bless. Okay. I literally just have Zoom, YouTube, and the document open. So we will just, going back to serious talk, guys. Next article up on the block for discussion. We're just going to quickly broach on the topic rather than read this article so that we can continue on to bigger things, I think. Does that work for you, Megan?
I'm thinking that tonight's discussion is just purely going to be about us. I'm looking at the time. It's like, I don't think we're going to have time to touch on the overseas stuff tonight, which is going to be unfortunate because there was some pretty awesome stuff that's happening overseas.
We can always
do another show.
Yeah, and we can always hit that in the next episode, darling. It doesn't have to all be compacted in tonight. Okay, so seeing as I being so weird and glitchy, do you just want to do a skim over this next article, seeing as your feed seems to be far more stable than mine at the moment?
The article switching to vaping not easy research?
The research, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, research, yes.
It's not that big an article. It's actually quite small in comparison to the other stuff that I've been reading.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I can read it.
The next 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Go hard.
Awesome. Okay, so this next article is from nzcity.co.nz and it's titled Switching to Vaping Not Easy. Research. Smokers looking to switch from smoking to vaping don't have an easy ride. New research from the University of Otago shows. Not all smokers can successfully make the transition to vaping, new research shows. The study from the University of Otago involved interviewing 20 vapers. 20? Is that all? Who also regularly smoke cigarettes. And has been published in International Journal Tobacco Control. It largely comes down to nostalgia and a strong attachment to real cigarettes, lead author Dr. Lindsay Robertson says. Many started their quit attempt expecting that vaping would offer them exactly the same experience as smoking, she says. However, they often become disappointed when their experiences didn't replicate smoking and continued smoking as well as vaping. One way of addressing this problem could involve managing smokers' expectations more carefully, Professor Robertson says. This includes ensuring smokers who want to switch to vaping receive good advice from well-trained retailers with specialist vaping knowledge. Participants see specialist vape shop staff as expert advisors, so they could help remind people of the importance of giving up entirely, says Professor Janet Howick, who leads the Health Research Council funded research project. For things like that, I mean, yeah, I try. I certainly hope that I give as much information as I can as a vape shop staff person to pass on that knowledge to new converts, to try and keep at it. Yes, it's something completely different, and yeah, just not to give up. And if they have any issues or how or problems,
you do.
or
I've heard you give your spiel.
Yeah, they can just come into the shop. I mean, we provide like a welcoming atmosphere. At least I like to think so. and
I've heard you give your spiel. You do good, honey.
Yeah, so it's about giving them that, that affirmation that they can do it. And you goes, but ultimately it is on that person to actually want to really stop. But yeah, it's an interesting thing there. Okay, so carrying on. This advice could be very important because some participants thought they had been successful just by reducing the number of cigarettes they smoked rather than trying to give them up completely, she said. The researchers said government legislation could help people make a full transition away from smoking to exclusive use of e-cigarettes and vape devices. Hāpai Te Haura Māori Public Health Chief Executive Lance Norman says recognising the tough move away from smoking cigarettes was important. These University of Otago findings suggest we need to support our whānau in this transition with realistic expectations and informed, well-trained health professionals, he said. So that's that article.
Can you see me all good? I'm truly frozen on the YouTube feed.
Yeah, you're like glitchy ass.
Okay, well, you keep reading and flow on to the next topic then, seeing as I'm so glitch. That article itself is interesting as well, but looking at the time, we do need to press on.
Yeah, well, the next one sort of ties on, well, we're now sort of leading on to the Philip Morris case. For those that aren't aware, the Ministry of Health have taken Philip Morris to court. So I'm just going to read this article, which is from the 5th of March this year, which is titled The Ministry of Health Takes Tobacco Giant to Court. A tobacco company and the Ministry of Health are locking horns in court for a week-long battle over the sale of a new tobacco device. Philip Morris is defending 2 charges over the sale of its Heats, HEETS, tobacco stick used in the oh gosh, is it the IQOS? ECOS? IQOS? I can't remember how it's pronounced.
ECOS, I would have said.
ECOS, electronic
Neither.
smoke-free device. The court case comes after the Otago Daily Times was first to reveal the product had been launched in New Zealand. Legality of tobacco products in question. It heats the tobacco sticks without burning so that nicotine vapor can be inhaled. But the Ministry of Health says the product isn't legal in New Zealand. Health Minister Prosecutor Sally Carter told the Wellington District Court that the issue came down to legal fine print. It's the heat sticks that contain tobacco, and there's no problem that this product contains tobacco. What? The real problem is whether this product falls within the Smoke-Free Environments Act 1990, she said. Significantly, because of the way the Act is structured, there are issues whether in fact the product is a smoking issue and a smoking product. The definition of to smoke means the product needs to be ignited. If the ministry can prove that the product is for oral use, but not smoking, that would make it illegal under the current New Zealand law. Philip Morris is defending the charges, arguing that heats is a smoking product. Witnesses will be called that afternoon, and two charges the company faces carries a maximum penalty of $10,000. Okay, and then that sort of like leads into the next article, which talks about the legality of tobacco products and of the tobacco product in question. Whew. Okay, so to talk about that, two of the pretty much just going to end up saying it again. Two of the world's largest tobacco companies are at odds over whether a new tobacco product being launched in New Zealand is illegal. This comes after the identity of a mysterious tobacco product which prompted concern on the part of the University of Otago academic was revealed as a product called IQOS. ECOS. Meow. The Philip Morris product heats tobacco rather than burning it. The Ministry of Health says it has contacted Philip Morris in relation to activities relating to the ECOS product. A member of the public who declined to be named said they were at a launch party for the product in Auckland last month. There was free alcohol at the event, which he said was run by marketing agency Brand Spanking and another company. People were educated about how to use the product and given free samples. After a story on the then mystery product was published in the Otago Daily Times yesterday, so this was dated the 13th of January this year, British American Tobacco Head of Legal and External Affairs Saul Durber made contact to say it was not behind the product. Mr. Durber confirmed that the product was ECOS and said it was the British American Tobacco belief it was illegal in New Zealand. He pointed to the Ministry of Health's website, which stated heat not burn products were considered tobacco products for oral use and their sale was prohibited under the Smoke-Free Environments Act 1990. BAT, which is short for the British American Tobacco, had a similar product on sale in Japan but did not have plans to launch it in New Zealand because it was not legal under the New Zealand law, Mr. Durber said. He questioned the way the product was launched and a job advertisement that stated it would be marketed throughout New Zealand. He would not be drawn over whether such activity breached rules banning tobacco advertising. All I can tell you is that we wouldn't do that. He said the mystery product was not the Yoke inhaler, or Voke inhaler, mentioned as a possibility in yesterday's ODT, so the Otago Times. It was not yet approved for sale in New Zealand and had recently been sold to a company not connected to BAT. Philip Morris responded late yesterday saying the section of the law referenced on the ministry's website was put in place in the 1990s to address American-style chewing tobacco. It has absolutely nothing to do with heated tobacco or e-cigarettes, a spokesman said. Our product fully complies with all relevant legislation in New Zealand. The company was launching the product in New Zealand because of widespread interest in alternatives to conventional combustible tobacco products, the spokesman said. ECOS could help the government's push to smoke-free 2025 goal. It was available in more than a dozen markets, and in Japan alone, more than 1 million smokers had quit cigarettes and used ECOS. The man who was at the Auckland launch of ECOS at the wharf said people were given the opportunity to try the product, which involved putting half-sized tobacco cigarettes in a device that heated but did not burn tobacco. The man at the launch party likened the product to a cross between e-cigarettes, which involve heating liquid often containing nicotine, and normal cigarettes, and said there were mixed responses from those who tried it. Ministry of Health Tobacco Control Program Manager Jane Chambers said in an emailed statement this ministry was aware of the product launch. The ministry is concerned with any activity that actively promotes the sale or notifies the availability of any tobacco product. The ministry has contacted Philip Morris in relation to activities relating to the ECOS product. She said if the product contained tobacco, it was potentially illegal to market it at events and educate people about it. The revelations come after a job advertisement sought 20 people to work for experimental marketing agency Brand Spanking and be trained regarding a new tobacco industry product. Brand Spanking did not reply to follow-up questions yesterday, and director and creative strategist Mark Pickering said in an email on Wednesday night the agency did not discuss client work with the media. So that was that in regards to the legalities of it. And then there's another one, another article in regards to the Philip Morris case. So the Māori Public Health Organisation supports Ministry of Health in trial against Philip Morris. This was today, this article. So this week, the Ministry of Health is taking tobacco giant Philip Morris to court. The Ministry of Health has laid charges against the New Zealand subsidiary of the multinational tobacco company relating to the importation and selling of its tobacco sticks known as heats. Heats contain tobacco sticks which are heated in an electronic device rather than burned like a traditional cigarette. It appears that the issue will come down to how the Act classifies smoking and whether it encompasses products like heats, which is designed for inhalation through the mouth, but may not necessarily ignite. Under Section 29 of the Smoke-Free Environments Act 1990, the Ministry believes that heats should be prohibited as they fall into the category of tobacco products designed for oral use other than for smoking. Under current law, it is illegal to advertise, import, and sell tobacco products that you take to your mouth to use other than smoking. The government has also announced that any new nicotine device must go through a pre-approval process where products will be thoroughly vetted. Hāpai Te Hauta CEO Lance Norman believes that the Ministry of Health is within their rights to prosecute Philip Morris for believing it is above the law. Norman explains how smoking is responsible for 5,000 deaths in New Zealand each year, and the smoking rates for Māori are double that of the general population. Tobacco products like this deliver a major insult to whānau ora, so we support the Ministry of Health taking action on the importation and the sale of this product. Nearly there. Tobacco advocacy spokesperson Adrian Tepatu extends on Norman's statement. While this product may be safer than tobacco cigarettes, there is no sign of independent research. I support this perspective offered by Hāpai, not only because I dislike the idea of a tobacco company trying to sneak in under the radar, but because this behaviour suggests that Philip Morris think that they are above the law. It is arrogant and harmful for our underserved communities. Hāpai Te Hauta supports initiatives around supply reduction, which centre on reducing the appeal, access and affordability of tobacco. This strategy endorses harm reduction alternatives like vaping devices. Heats is distinct in that it uses tobacco which vaping devices do not. Thought leaders within the tobacco space have argued that vaping devices are capable of eliminating nearly all of the harmful compounds associated with cigarettes, which heats may only partially do. Norman warns that we need to be wary of tobacco companies introducing alternative products like heats, which claim to be moving towards a smoke-free future. Norman states that this behaviour could be seen as wolf in sheep's clothing. Philip Morris is claiming to be in support of a post-smoking future, but is still actively promoting smoking around the world and is now using methods that we consider illegal in New Zealand. This is a bold decision by the Ministry of Health, sending a clear message to get their combustible tobacco out of our country.
Malau. I totally support that article completely, but wow, the whole court case is, and I have no idea how glitchy I'm going to be coming through. The whole court case is just intense. There's such a fine line that the Ministry of Health are trying to, well, they're standing on this side and Philip Morris is on that side, and as law currently stands, like it's stated, what Philip Morris's product is illegal currently, unless something else changed within our legislation going through for vaping, and there is possibility of amendments to the Smoke-Free Environments Act. I still can't see it being allowed, but it's still a really fine line that Ministry of Health are like standing up and being staunch about. But good on them. Big Tobacco trying to move in on our vape industry. Little old New Zealand. Little old New Zealand.
I mean,
well, I have no idea how glitchy I'm coming through, so I don't want to rant too much.
Yeah, audio-wise, you're coming through just fine. It's just your video that's glitchy. But I mean, yeah, I completely support the that court case against Philip Morris. I mean, simply because it's against Big Tobacco. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I will never ever be interested in purchasing a vaping product from a Big Tobacco company. No way.
No, neither. No. And if you guys weren't aware, just two of the brands I happen to know that Philip Morris produce, just two. I know there's a few more, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. One being Marlboro. Marlboro cigarettes I used to smoke, as in TaylorMade's. I'm not sure if they also produce the rolling tobacco. I would assume being the same brand. But yeah, Marlboro and Alpine cigarettes are just two of those brands that are out there that Philip Morris as a big tobacco company produces. So just to put a little bit of brand name on context on there for those ex-smokers out there, for all you ex-smokers out there, I should say. Right. What have we got left in this document? We can, if you're all good to go a little bit longer, we could possibly.
As much as I would love to carry on and continue on with like the overseas stuff, because that's what's next. Unfortunately, I have a small child that I need to deal with.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so out there in the chat, in the description, apologies, in the description, I have another link after the ones that we've just been through and read for you. There's another link on there on another New Zealand link from in the Herald. I'm just going to mention them so that you guys can go and have a look at these articles yourself if you so wish. So the next article that I think everyone should go and have a read about and was printed last month, so it's a February article in the NZ Herald. It was a view on why our e-cigarette industry needs global regulations. So possibly we might actually pick up from there for the next show, Megan.
I think that one, I had like a read through that.
Out in the description if anyone wants.
Yeah, that one was more targeted because the survey had been done on it, and I think it was based more on American and I believe Canadian participants. So I think that was more of a overseas article that was printed here.
Yeah. Right. Okay, right. That makes a little bit more sense. Okay, then. To rephrase what I just stated then, we may, probably will, don't know right this second, so can't 100% say, continue this discussion around what's happening in NZ and around the world, just in vape news, not necessarily specifically talking certain points of advocacy, but all of it of discussion and information is advocacy in my eyes because we're talking about it and sharing and educating. So the next few articles that are down in the description are stuff going on around the world, and we can come back to those topics. So, guys, whew, as Megan says, she does have to get home to look after her flatmate's daughter. So we will wrap it up there for the night. It has been intense info of what is happening in New Zealand's vape news, recapped the legislation proposal that happened a year ago and what's gone on in New Zealand's vape industry, some of the progression, I should say, in the last year of what's happening out there, out and about, and also the big court case with Philip Morris and what's going on with that. That is happening like right now in our country. That is like fresh news. Those last few articles that Meg's just read out have all come out in the last week. So it's it's a big topic going on here in the news right now. Today. Hey. Yeah, awesome. Gizzy just strolled in right as we're about to end the show. Okay, I'm going to shut that document. Okay, so lots to absorb there, lots of information that was read out tonight. Don't know what's been going on with my internet connection to Megan. Video glitching like hell. Just hope my audio's been coming through okay to you guys out there watching and listening. Crazy weather going on in NZ again and more storms hitting our country, so I'm not surprised by good old tech difficulties with my glitch happening. Megan, what would you like to say to the peeps till next week?
No. My goodness, no, yeah, that was quite the intense show. Although I have to say, it's probably the only video where I've spoken the majority of the time. It's hilarious. But
nothing wrong with that, darling. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh no, of course not. Now yeah, a lot of information to try and absorb. It was pretty full on, but hopefully that, you know, our Kiwi viewers have gotten something out of it and heard something new that they hadn't heard about or read about online already. Yeah, it was good. There's still a lot of articles out there that is going on in regards to vaping here in New Zealand. We just touched on just a small fraction of it. But I definitely like to thank you all for tuning in and actually be interested in hearing all of this stuff. It was actually a an interesting show. These ones are always interesting because there's just so much to talk about in a small space of time. So thank you for bearing with us, and despite the glitchiness, if you want to follow either myself or Mox, if you haven't already, our links and stuff are in the description, as well as scrolling across the bottom of the screen at the moment. Other than that, be good to each other.
Be good to each other. All right, and of course, just putting it out there in chat, guys. You guys know my spiel. Go out and research. Go and read all of these sorts of articles yourself. Inform yourself with what's going on. And then you are informed to be able to inform others and educate correctly. And then you can all advocate truthfully. Research, inform, educate, advocate. We love you, Vape fam. It's been an intense episode. You might even have to listen to it a few times to even absorb. But again, all those links of all the articles that we've mentioned and read from tonight are down in the description, so you can go and have a look at them for your own perusal in your own leisurely time as well. If listening to Meg's beautiful radio voice lulled you to sleep, you can go back and actually see the article yourself. Hopefully you didn't get lulled to sleep, because it was all big info, just happened to be deep info. Take a breath.
I tried to not be too
We'll
monotone.
see you guys next
week. I tried.
Yeah. We will, take a breath, guys. We will see you next week. We'll continue the information next week. Have no idea what else of fabulousness might be coming for you next episode. We've got to wait and see. I'll find out too. Love you, fam. Research, inform, educate, advocate. We'll see you guys next week. And yes, there'll be an after party. I'll throw the link out in chat shortly. We're going to go out on some clouds. Keep it real, lovelies, and stay safe out there, eh?
With how glitchy your video is, I think we'll be going out on my clouds.
Yes, highly probably. I'll just make vaping noises. Hashtag vaping noises.
Vaping noises.
And for those of you wondering where the rest of the hashtag is on my light box, I didn't have a third V, so I couldn't write lives. So hashtag vaping saves works well. You guys know the deal, know the hashtag. Love you lots. You know where to contact us if you want to chat about anything or suggest a topic to us, or even if you're a vendor who wants to reach out. We are reachable. Our Facebook page over there. Go and message us on Facebook. So yeah, love to see you, fam. Going out on the clouds or the vaping.
Share. Dry wicks.
Don't know if you guys will be able to see my eyes tonight because I'm glitching, but you'll be able to hear I'm making the O noises.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All
right, Sam. See you next week.